Okay, guys, I've had to make this video so many times. It's ridiculous. We're gonna do this one more time. So last night around 12 midnight, no, it was 12:30. It was around 12:30 a.m. This was last night, early morning, wasn't it? Um, the television went on by itself. Okay, and so I went to turn it off, and then I went to the bathroom, and then my mother started screaming, and I ran back, and it was on static again. It was on static. And it was really loud. So I went to turn it off again, and it didn't turn off. Instead, it changed to channel one, and it kept every time I pressed the off button, it kept turning to channel one. Eventually, I was able to turn it off. Okay, fast forward. It was around then, around 2:10, 2:20, 2:15. I don't know. Between 2:15 and 2:20, it happened again. The television turned on again, and so once again, I went and I tried to turn it off with the remote control, and instead of turning off, it turned to channel one. And then every time I pressed the off button or any button, one would appear on the television. So I figured, okay, well, first of all, could it be a malfunctioning remote control? Because I did wash the remote control earlier, I sanitized it. Could I have done something wrong? So I changed out the batteries and I tried again, and I was able to turn it off this time, and it hasn't happened since. The thing is, there's the reason I don't necessarily believe that it was the remote control, or and I don't even know if a malfunctioning remote control can do all that. But it's because I don't necessarily believe that it's doing that because a while back we did have a smart TV one that had internet connection, and the same thing happened with that television. It would turn randomly on and off on its own. And that was before, and I knew that I was being, I knew that I had these sick psychopaths following me by that point. But I didn't yet know about organized stalking. I just figured, it was online trolls, and well, the two people I got into an argument, I figured they probably got their sicko buddies involved, right? But I still didn't know how insidious this was. I didn't know how organized and massive this was. So yeah, we did have a smart television, and I figured, well, it was so cheap that it was probably just malfunctioning, and I didn't take it seriously. But when I found out about organized stalking, I got rid of that, and I got a television without Wi-Fi capabilities, where you can't hook it up to the internet. So the television we have now cannot be hooked up to the internet. It doesn't have those abilities, um, at least as far as I'm aware of. I monkeyed with it, and it doesn't look like there's anything there that allows that. Unless, before I purchased it, someone did tampered with it. Because it was understood that I was, and it was understood that I was going to get a television. So I got the cheapest one there. So, that didn't have Wi-Fi, that didn't have, that wasn't a smart TV. So, and it was the only one left. So they could have assumed that that's the one I would purchase because I was going to get the cheapest one they had. They could have tampered with it and put, I don't know. I don't know. But either way, because this has happened before, because our last TV would randomly go on and off by itself, I don't think it was just damage to the remote that was doing that. So, and again, the worst part about this is that you can't even really tell mental health professionals about it because even something like this, even something physical, they can write off as delusion or shared delusion because both my mother and I witnessed it happening. They can just lie. They can, and at that point, it's slander. It's lying about someone's mind. It's lying about someone's mental state, and they can do that and prove they're wrong, right? Prove they're wrong. Anyway, so more things that are happening. This is just getting worse and worse and worse. And I know there's a lot out there now about people mass buying toilet paper, and a lot of the comments are pretty funny. Unfortunately, I haven't mass bought. I haven't bought as much toilet paper as other people, but I've always purchased a lot, and there's a reason for that, even before the pandemic. So I think my mother might have OCD, and this is something we've been dealing with, all our lives. I've been dealing with it all my life, and it's always been hard, but it's harder now during a pandemic, right? And with people with OCD, as soon as they know that they're not supposed to do something, they're going to do it. As soon as you tell them, hey, can you help me out by just refraining from doing this because it'll really help. That's exactly what they're going to do, right? If you say don't touch this, that's exactly what they're going to touch. So during a pandemic, it's a nightmare, right? So what if they're already doing it or already touching it, right? How do you stop them without telling them to stop? Because telling them to stop is just going to make them do it even more. It's And I'm not, even though of course I'm a caretaker now, I don't have clinical experience dealing with, I have life experience, but I don't have clinical experience. And during a pandemic, this type of behavior takes on a whole other level of horror, and it's very hard to deal with. So, what a few days ago I noticed that, and it's always been this way where, so she'll go through toilet paper like crazy. Like, if we get a roll of 4 toilet papers, that'll be gone within 2 days. Okay, and I've tried arguing with her about it before, and we just get into an argument. At one point, it led to her saying that I'm not, screaming that I'm not letting her have toilet paper, which of course was a lie. Imagine how bad that sounds. Imagine how cruel someone would be for denying someone the right to have toilet paper, right? Um, so, so in a situation like this, because I'm also a target of organized stalking, in a situation where I'm never allowed a defense, people aren't going to hear my side. I don't want to create another situation where she's going around saying things like that. So, and in her mind, I guess I am cruel. But you do what you have to do. At some point, there's nothing else you can do. You're going to be damned either way. So today it happened again. Well, a few days ago actually, I begged her again, please just go easy on the toilet paper because I can't keep going out. First of all, because supplies need to be there for everybody in the city, right? We can't. It's all over the news. You can't just have a few people hoarding everything, and I understand that. And second, because I can't keep leaving the building anymore. Yesterday was really the last time I was going out, and that was to pay an important bill, which, for my last video, you saw they wouldn't let me pay anyway. The guy said he couldn't get into, his password wasn't working, and so he couldn't get into the system, and so I couldn't pay. He told me to come back, and I said I couldn't. That's it. I can't go out again. I can't keep going out. Just, there are seniors here, and it's dangerous. My mother is a senior. She's not so old that she's senile. I mean, she's still, she's still cognizant, but she's old, right? And I've got to keep people here safe. So I can't just go out every day or two to get more toilet paper. That's wasted. And if I do, it's going to be horrible because other people need that. Obviously, it can't all go to one person too. And someone in the building actually commented on it when I came back. They commented and said, "Look, who's I forget what they actually said. It was 2 women or something." She said, "This is why we can't get resources," or "This is why we can't get this," or something like that. And unfortunately, she's right. When you have one person or one family buying up everything, other people can't get it. We can't. And especially in a pandemic where you have a lot of people trying to buy as much as they can, there are going to be people who can't get resources. So, on one hand, I get to be the bad guy that way. On the other hand, whatever I do at home to try to mitigate that damage and stop it from happening makes me look like a horrible person also. So, a few days ago, I begged her, please, please just go easier on it. Don't waste so much because I can't keep going out to buy more because we can't hoard it, but also because I can't keep going out and risking, bringing illness back to the building. Okay. And she swore up and down, oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. Oh, of course. I'll be careful. Well, today when I walked into the bathroom, I found an entire garbage full of clean toilet paper. And what it was is what she always does. She'll take off a whole bunch and then she'll use a little bit, the tip of it, to wipe her nose or to spit in or, whatever it is, and then she'll throw the entire thing away. The clean with a little bit of dirty. And even though I've kept the garbage clean and sanitized, I've had to sanitize that too because, as I explained yesterday, she'll stick her hand in the garbage, rummage through the garbage, and, even though she said, oh, I won't, I catch her doing it again. And then, so I keep that as clean as possible. Again, you can't tell someone with OCD not to do something, right? And expect them not to do it. So I just have to keep it clean. But even though I keep the garbage clean, because there is some dirt, there are some dirty things in there, I don't know what's on, so I'm not going to take the toilet paper out of the garbage and put it back on the roll. Because she did wipe her nose with part of it, and all that's bunched together now. So in order to avoid having to go out and get more, and even in order to avoid having to go out and get more, every few days, what I did was I took the roll off the thing in the bathroom. I put it in the closet, and I told her, look, when you need toilet paper, just tell me, and I'll give it to you. And so it's horrible. It's horrible. And it doesn't sound nice, but I don't know what else to do at this point. Either I'm going to be forced out to buy more and look like a complete asshole for hoarding and hoarding all the, and then going out, and then coming back here, to this type of building where I could get people sick, I look like an asshole for doing that. And of course, my side is never going to be told to people. They're never going to hear my side. They're going to hear the side of the perpetrators who are loving this situation. Either I do that, or I try to mitigate the damage in here, and I look like an asshole in here for supposedly taking the toilet paper away. And I haven't taken it away. I said, just tell me when you need it, and I will give it to you. Well, I was filming this video before, and she got very angry, and she started shouting, that I wouldn't give her toilet paper, I wouldn't give her toilet paper. So imagine how that sounds. I can imagine her going around, telling people that I took her toilet paper away and won't give her any. I just imagine how that sounds. So I was near to breaking down at that point because it's just not true. I said, tell me you need it, tell me when you need it, and I'll give it to you. But no matter what I do, I'm going to be blamed for something, right? I'm going to look like the bad guy, the asshole for something. And this is just how it's set up, right? If I just leave it where it is and let her do what she's going to do, I have to go out every other day. And I look like a horrible person for doing that. If I do the only thing I can to try to stop that from happening, she starts screaming and I look like a horrible person for doing that. Okay, everything, it's set up so that I'm going to look like the biggest monster available. And today I just started shouting. Too, because I know that, if I didn't take action to try to stop her from wasting all of the toilet paper we have within 1 or 2 days, then later, when I had to go out again every few days and they get angry with me for going out, then she's going to say, well, why didn't you just take it away? And why didn't you just put it away so I couldn't get in it? Then she would say that. So there's nothing I can do. I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. Now she's angry with me for taking it away and saying, even making comments that aren't true, right? When she says I won't give her toilet paper, that's a lie. That's a lie. I said I'll give it to her when she needs it. Just let me know. And it's a lie that sounds absolutely horrible. But if I didn't do something later, she would say, well, why didn't you do that then if you knew I was going to waste it? That this is how it's always been. I think it's OCD. I don't think she's been clinically diagnosed with that. I'm going to guess it's OCD, maybe something else. I don't know. And it's always been hard, but in the middle of a pandemic, it is brutal. And today I lost it. I got so angry. I was near tears because I don't understand. It's not that I don't understand mental illness. Psychiatrists would love to just label everybody mentally ill, but when someone actually has mental illness, they don't call it, right? And it's not that I don't understand mental illness. It's just that I guess it's hard to be sensitive to it when something like this is going on. Because I don't know what to do anymore. I'm trying to keep her safe. I'm trying to keep myself safe in order to keep her safe. All right, I'm trying not to risk the health of people in the building. I can't do everything. And in a situation like this, it's you have to be able to do everything, and it's impossible. There's just, because it's set up where you just can't win. There's nothing you can do. And I'm trying to keep her safe, and I've sanitized everything so much that my hands are raw and cracked and bleeding. But if she doesn't cooperate, if she's cross-contaminating, if she's sticking her hand in a dirty garbage or touch, and then touching her mouth because she knows she's not supposed to, she's gonna get sick anyway. And I'm doing it. That again, this is why I sanitize even the garbage, everything she could possibly touch. I sanitize the mail that comes in here. I when they bring food up, I'll, even if it's warm, I'll cook it. Just to kill whatever viruses and bacteria might be in there. You have to watch everything, because and you can't, when you can't trust what someone says. Oh yeah, I won't do this, or yeah, of course I know. But then 2 seconds later they're doing it. It's it's too. You tell someone, don't don't touch your mouth or rub your eyes with dirty hands, and then they say, oh, of course I know, I know, and then instead they take a dirty sleeve, or they'll take a Kleenex out of their dirty pocket. So let's say they have keys and and money, you know how dirty money is, in their pockets, and they put a clean Kleenex in that dirty pocket. Then they take the Kleenex out of their pocket and rub their face with it, their mouth, their eyes, their nose. Now they just rubbed all of those germs into their mouth and their eyes and their nose, right? And you call them on it, and they say, well, I didn't touch my face with with dirty hands. I used a clean Kleenex. But the Kleenex wasn't clean. See, this is the point. This is the point. It's not about hands. It's about not touching your face with whatever could be contaminated, whether it's your hands, a glove, a sleeve, or Kleenex, right? You don't contaminate it first before you use it on your face. That's the point. So when they do something like that, you understand they don't understand what you're saying. They don't understand cross-contamination. And in some cases, especially if they have OCD, they're going to do it on purpose because they know they shouldn't. So even all the clothes, if they go out, when they come back, everything has to be put away immediately and washed. She's not going out now, so that's going to be a little bit easier. It's I'm trying. I don't know. It's just it's getting harder. It's getting so much harder, and this would already be difficult. A pandemic is going to be difficult in a good situation. But when you're dealing with someone who's difficult, and with probable OCD, it's going to be a nightmare. And when you also are dealing with, organized stalking, and people who are trying to set you up continuously and give people a false impression of you, it becomes a nightmare. It becomes an almost unmanageable nightmare. And I've come so close to calling a family member now that because I have no help. I'm stuck in here alone, and I've been dealing with this alone for the entire situation for so many years. But now with the pandemic, I've come close to calling a family member who I don't really want to call because and he's on her side of the family. He's not nice. He's not nice at all. He is nasty and he's cruel. And I won't say that I've seen him physically assault her, but I did see him grab her and shake her once hard over nothing at all. He doesn't have patience. He doesn't have restraint. I don't want to call him, but at the same time, I think he might be the only one I can for help. But I don't trust him. I don't trust him with her. And I'm at the point where I'm going to have to call someone for help, though, because this is an impossible situation. And I'm just putting this out there for my own protection. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm afraid. This virus is scary. It's dangerous for seniors. I want her to be safe. I'm trying to keep her healthy. But this is a 24/7 thing where you have to watch them 24/7. And what now they're saying that this could last for another 18 months. I don't know how I'm going to do this for another 18 months. Anyway, at least the pounding seems to have stopped a little. There was some light thumping, but at least the massive pounding from upstairs has seemed to stop for at least for a little while. Thank God for small favors, right? Peace.